This is a campaign that is about fuel from the power of the people and about building community and building coalitions and in the process building up our country to maximize our strength and our potential. And I thank everybody here for your hope, for your prayers, for your support, and for your hard work. Thank you all.
Very cool. Well, hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is 11 o'clock or so on the East Coast, 10 o'clock here in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. It is election night. We promised to come on and do a little update. This week, I'm sure that many people are in the throes of panic and freaking out. I am not. My hair is usually straight, but tonight, no, I'm kidding. Look, it's election night. It's an incredible night. It's been a long road already to get to this day. Stress is high. Prices are being called. They get called fast. But we are ready. It's been an exciting night. We want to join you. I am Fred Wellman. I'm the host of On the Line with VoteVets right here on VoteVets, all the channels. Hope you can find us. We are going live with a couple of our really cool teammates to talk about what's happening right now and where we are. It's been a long day. As you can see, if you've been watching TV obsessively, a lot of states are being called. I think we'll get an update later from our teammates about where we stand as far as electoral college. Look, the fact is it's coming down to what we thought, folks. I'll just go too long. Don't watch. Let's cut that chase right away. It is going to be a long night still. The fact remains. We always said one thing. We said one thing clearly. It is going to be the blue wall states and some extras. And that's where we are. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nebraska too. Arizona's in play. Nevada's in play. And that's where it's going to come down to. As long as we get those, it's over. And those states are far from being called. Virginia's just flipped over to counting for Harris. So we got a lot of exciting things. I also want to bring in one of our good friends, Travis, who runs our political operation here at Vote. Going to talk about some of the amazing candidates that we've supported that have won their races, as well as some others. So there's a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. I know you're a little scary now. God forbid you're watching Steve Kornacki talk about Corn Pone County, where Harris is underperforming Biden by 0.5%, and it's just terrifying. Turn it off, folks. Turn it off. Buy it. Get yourself some gin, a glass of wine. Hang out with us at VoteVets for a little while. Clearly, you guys want to hang out with us. So let's talk about today. Let's get on with the show. Let me bring on my good friends. You know him very well. Mike Levine, retired Sergeant Major of the United States Army. And, of course, Travis. Oh, there we go. Travis Tazlar, who's our political director here at VoteVets. Guys, welcome to the show. We got people hanging out. 6,000 people join us already. So I hope it's because you're not freaking out. JJ, you'll look at the comments. So all right, let's just go for a vibe check first, and feel free to live. Mike, how you doing, man?
Hey, so earlier today I said I was nauseously optimistic. It is 11:08 Eastern time. I'm just nauseous. No, all kidding aside, like Fred, your open is something that I probably should have written down and been referring to every 3 or 4 minutes since I started watching live coverage around 6 o'clock Eastern, and that is, hey man, we know this is going to go the distance. This was not going to be a landslide. This was not going to be we know the answer by 11 o'clock Eastern. This was going to go the distance, and everything so far has borne that out. I've got, CNN over here on the other screen. You mentioned Steve Kornacki. One of the things I like about the CNN coverage right now, especially on the presidential side, is as you see the colors change back and forth on these states, it's enough to make your blood run cold if you don't really know what you're looking at. And King, I think I just said his name. Steve King. Who's the CNN guy? No, the CNN guy, King. That guy, the white-haired John King. He does like the pull-in on the map, and then it shows the colors of counties. And the colors of counties is great, right? But then there's like another little flip, and it shows these colored circles. And the colored circles represent areas that have not yet reported. And the size of the circle indicates the number of votes that are in that area. And when you pull in on Pennsylvania, red Pennsylvania right now, you pull in on red Pennsylvania and you see a big blue circle over Philadelphia. You see a medium-sized blue circle over Allentown. You see another medium-sized circle over Pittsburgh. So like there's a lot of votes yet still to come in, even if they're up with 67% of the vote in. finger math here. There's still a lot more numbers yet to come in.
Not a math guy.
Me either.
That's exactly it. Yeah, hi, bro. You could be honest. We're all friends here. There's 10,000 of us, but we could.
Yeah. Look, I'm with you guys. Like I just think that we gotta stick this thing out tonight, and go the distance. There's no fretting yet. There's no fretting yet. This was if you recall back about this time, 2020. Everybody was doing the same thing, right? It's like, oh man, we're gonna lose, and we just gotta keep a cool head, the rest of the night, into tomorrow and the next day, and know that every vote's going to get counted. We're going to make damn sure of that. And and just be patient. Some of these states, they take a little bit of time. Some of these states are calling in extra folks, firefighters, and like all kinds of other public safety workers and public health workers to help with the backlogs of votes and stuff like that. I mean, that's as far as being an American, that's a pretty happy problem to have. You got a lot of votes to count. So I think we just need to be a little bit patient and not get too overly worried, about things, and like Mike said, like watching the numbers just kind of flip flop. So
if I hear the word slippage ever again, somebody replied to one of my tweets that slippage is the new moist,
Yeah, right.
a word I'll never use. I was like, wow, that is going to be stolen. I steal my best ideas from my Twitter reply. JJ, our producer, for those who don't know, we mention him a lot. JJ Jorgensen is our incredible producer, puts these shows together. He is the brains of this operation, and he puts a beautiful plan for us to come together, and I've already broken it because every show, so nonetheless, so let's talk about Turnout because that's the plan. Look, Turnout was, actually okay. I don't know. We're finding out in some places it wasn't as high, some places it was higher. I think you got a chart on that. I mean, I would love to have seen a lot more turnout in places like here in St. Louis, Missouri, where it wasn't a competitive congressional race. We did see the pain of a slower turnout, but the turnout game was good. I mean, it should have been good in most of the places. I don't even know what to say about it. How do you feel, Mike? I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, this is like football. They say any given Sunday, right? So it's any given Tuesday in this case, and so. All the noise on social media, all of the different frames on your Facebook photo, none of that really matters unless you're physically showing up at a polling place and making your voice heard. And what we're seeing is, at least from the preliminary reporting so far, is we had a hell of a lot of people show today. But the question is, did the Republican side manage to, generate the same kind of turnout? And whatever gains that perhaps the Democrats were able to do with young people, Gen Z, first time voters, was the Republican Party able to replicate that, or find another constituency that would match or outnumber that? And so, I mean, a lot of that
we saw, right? That's what we saw. We saw a long line. Still colleges. There's still people in line. I sent out an F-bomb tweet earlier that said people are still freaking voting in Pennsylvania. Lehigh University had 7-hour waits. I mean, so this is far from over. The turnout was so overwhelming. And then I liked when you talk about the bomb threats. And I mean, incredible. I don't know if we have a chart for that, JJ, or not. We're talking about doing a chart for it, but if you guys are following on the news, the FBI is now reporting hundreds of actual bomb threats that appear to be originating from Russia, targeting very specific polling locations. The Indian tribe polling locations, the Nez Perce, I believe, tribe in Arizona. We had specific black polling places in Atlanta. This is a very targeted operation. I mean, you're an old Marine vet, Travis. Like, it's got to make you wonder, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is The fascinating thing that that is just watching some of these folks sitting in these lines, for hours and hours and hours. And just take a moment to, if you're one of them and you were sitting in one of those lines, earlier on today, kudos to you. I mean, 7 hours, sitting there, you probably missed the workday. I mean, the sacrifices that these folks made in order to do their civic duty. I mean, just hats off to you today.
Yeah.
So hats off to those folks.
Yeah, and sticking through it. I mean, it's good to hear the
Yeah.
FBI is countering these. It's good that people are sticking in with it and going on. And it's it's exciting time. We are getting race results in. I mean, let's talk about the VoteVets. So for those who don't know, VoteVets endorses and supports candidates. Sometimes we can talk to each other, sometimes we can't. Travis leads our efforts to support our candidates, so we have a huge swath of candidates. How many congressional and Senate candidates did we support this cycle, Travis?
So we supported about 25 this cycle, and that's including most of the folks that we had in the primary as well. And so I'm happy to walk through some of those tonight.
Yeah, let's go through some of that. We got some winners early. People, I'm like, throw them up,
yeah,
JJ. You're up, JJ.
Yeah. I think we had a couple winners that that had already come through. So Andy Kim, that's a big win, and so one of the things that I love about Andy Kim's race is I think Andy Kim. I think it was a Saturday or Sunday that he threw his hat in the ring. I mean, the guy was just like, fed up with this shit, and he decides like, I'm gonna throw his hat in the ring. And we jumped in with them the very next day, and so this one that was a big one to watch tonight. Really love that one came through. Some early another early one.
I've gotten to know. I got to know Andy Kim before we go away from Andy. Got to tell a story. Andy is a really decent guy. I mean, for those who you saw, for those who are watching, you may have gotten to know Andy when he was spotted cleaning up the garbage in the Capitol Rotunda after January 6th. That's when he kind of burst into the national scene. But he's just really a humble, easygoing guy. And I had a chance to get to know him. I did an interview with him for my other show, my podcast. And one of the things we pulled the thread on our conversation was about the idea of public service and giving back and acts of public service, like serving, like he has. And so we were at the VoteVets event. Travis, you were there in Chicago at the DNC. And Andy comes in, he gives me a big hug, which is cool because he knows who the hell I am. I thought that was great. And he goes, he goes, you got to watch my speech tonight, Fred. He goes, well, you remember when you talked about, public service and the three goes, I pulled that thread. That's my speech tonight. And I'm like, well, that's effing cool, bro. And it just goes to the kind of guy he is. He's a humble, he listens to people. And so that's a huge win for New Jersey and for our country.
We don't talk about that enough. Right. I mean, we don't talk about, the servant leaders, making their way not only into Congress, but then into the United States Senate. And you're right that photo of him cleaning up the Capitol floor on his hands and knees. I mean, it was amazing. But if anybody has ever had the chance to actually meet the guy in person, you're like, oh, okay. This isn't surprising to me,
That's the guy.
This is just isn't. Yeah, this is like he's the same guy that you see in that picture, and and it's a pretty fabulous, pretty fabulous thing to see him win tonight.
Yeah, we got more.
Yeah. And then there's Jason Crow. I mean, not much to say there, but the guy put up some big numbers tonight. I mean that was kind of a one that we expected, to happen, for sure. And then we had Pat Ryan, which was was a frontline district, and was never a guaranteed win. But I think he raised the money that he needed to raise. He worked his ass off in that race, as he always does, and has come out on top. And so I think we're still waiting on a couple more of our front lines. The we've got we have Mikey came in too. Okay, great. I didn't see
Mikey
that
came
one.
in.
That one just
Yep.
that one must have just come in.
Just popped as we got online.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And
So,
and Eugene Vinman. So it's not quite official yet, but he did give his victory speech just now. So Eugene Vinman,
okay.
he's I as you guys know, I support his campaign. I'm looking at his speech right now. So Eugene Vinman,
AP has not called him, but at least four other media outlets. Four outlets
have,
yeah,
and you look at I'm looking at the numbers right here. So it looks like Eugene's going to keep Virginia 7 blue. Got close. 98% of the votes are in. It's 51 to 48.9. He's up by 2. That's about as close.
I feel pretty good about that race, man.
Yeah, so we've got some pretty good wins. Who else is out there? Who are you really looking at right now, Travis, amongst our endorsed candidates?
So let me like stick with some of the frontline candidates still watching Don Davis's race in North Carolina 1. He's got a pretty pretty healthy 6,000 vote lead. Definitely a hard fought race, and one of those races that we pay a lot of attention to all of our races, but it's always a very interesting dynamic whenever we have one of our candidates running against a veteran. So paying attention to Don Davis in North Carolina 1, paying attention to Chris Delozio up in Pennsylvania 17. And I think that it looks, I think that he's got some pretty healthy numbers coming out of there. And then also paying attention to Jared Golden in Maine, up in Maine. Not a lot of votes come in just yet up in that race, but we're still keeping an eye on it. Before I move to some of our red to blue races and some of our challenges for the year, I do want to point out one of our incumbent members of Congress is running for Attorney General in North Carolina. And and so far, I mean, he's rocking it with like about 150,000 vote lead. With what's it look like? Maybe 3/4 of the votes in the tank so far. So Jeff Jackson, got redistricted out of his seat, decided to run for Attorney General, and I think that he's put together this really, really good campaign, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it over the finish line as well. Lots of other some other down ballot races to talk about, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of numbers coming in on the West Coast yet. So maybe we can do that tomorrow. And then so far we've had. There are 5 challengers that we have running in general elections. Let's talk about Virginia real quick. You guys just talked about Eugene, which I think they were all sort of pretty bullish on Eugene, getting over the finish line. Paying attention to Virginia 2 in Missy Cotter-Smazel and Jen Kiggins. So I see it's real slow coming in down over there, but we're nonetheless paying attention to it. And then watching Brian Fitzpatrick and Ashley Ehas in PA 1. And one of the races that I've been really sort of I've been watching pretty closely all night is Lenon Bakam out in Iowa 3. And that one is, looking to sort of, potentially turn into a little bit of a nail biter. They've been trading the lead, back and forth, pretty much all night. And Lenon was leading for a little bit. He's behind by 3,000 votes right now. Probably the closest race, one of the closest races that we have. So I'm really hopeful that he's gonna pull it out. This is a dude that was wearing a the VoteVets trucker hat in all of his ads this cycle. Man, it was you know, he was really rocking it, you know. So
Well,
the
good.
last one is we have Derek Tran out in California 45. And Derek Derek it's California, so you know we haven't gotten any numbers yet, you know, but you know he's run a really good race out there, and I'm hopeful when the numbers start coming in. So we stop there. We could pop over to Senate. We got a couple. We talked about Andy Kim, but we got some Senate races that we should dive into after we
let's talk about them.
Talk about the House races.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about Senate.
Well, so I think that the two competitive ones, you know, we've been trying to pay pretty close attention to is Ruben Gallego in Arizona, and I think that Ruben, you know, Ruben's run a really great campaign. I think Ruben's going to really pull it out tonight in a pretty big way. And look, he's won. I mean, that's a you know, for folks who haven't been paying attention to Arizona, man, that was a nasty race. You know, I mean, Carrie Lake, you know, she called him everything that she possibly could. You know, I mean, you know that you know, I'm not going to repeat the stuff that she said. You know, but I mean, it was just personal and nasty and brutal, you know, so and sort of epitomizes a lot of the real nasty politics that we see these days. And you know, and then we've got Alyssa Slotkin up in Michigan. I think that you know, she's been she always runs good races, and she's just a hell of a candidate. And so I think that we're going to be successful in both places tonight. So I'm really hoping that we've got you know the two of them joining Andy Kim on the leaderboard sometime tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, you know, Ruben's up by 7% right now, which is great. He's leading further than Trump is actually up by 2,000 votes. That's it statewide. So we got to keep an eye on Arizona. Arizona's in play. Maricopa is where a lot of the votes are still. So Arizona's very much in play still, but it does look pretty comfortable for Ruben there. Going back, you know, they have called, but it looks like while we've been sitting here, North Carolina got called for Trump. So that sucks. But you know, it wasn't one of the big states. I mean, we still go back to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nebraska too. We've got Arizona, New Mexico, or Nevada still. So the night is far from over. The electoral college is far from decided. We have a long night ahead of us and tomorrow as well, as you can see here. So it's still a ways to go. I mean, I think Trump is really close to as much as he's going to get. Easy. I think that my analysis of this is what Trump's going to get right here. Easy. The rest is going to be the fight at this point. You know, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, here we are again, right? Same thing we're always at. You know, you know, it is Arizona's in play, Nevada's in play. So you know, it's what it is. You'll get Alaska. I guess we'll probably still pick up Alaska, but this is about it. So. This feels eerily familiar. A lot of people are. It's funny. I said on Twitter how this like 2020. So for those who don't know, I was at the Lincoln Project in 2020, and we were in Park City, Utah, at a very nice hotel, I might add, drinking alcohol, watching this unfold. And sadly, we ran out of alcohol before we had results, and we dragged our butts home at 2:30 in the morning without a victory on our hands. And Bracky, if you guys remember, by the time we got it, I was already back here in Missouri, going to the park with my fiance. So look, I know it's easy. We all want to we all want to freak out. It's freaking out is what we do. I'm not. If you can see over here, I used to be a helicopter pilot, and nobody wants a helicopter pilot who freaks out. Okay, it's just a thing. And so you just got to kind of go, okay, well, that's bad. Oh, something came off the aircraft. Well, you know, we have to keep flying. And so it's not that I'm a cool kitty or I'm not stressed out. I assure you I am. I have not begun stress eating yet or drinking. But I think in the end, what we said from the beginning, look, we all wanted a big win. We all wanted a big victory, right, guys? I mean, we were hoping for it, but we've said from the beginning it was going to be close. The polls said it was close. We all poo-pooed the polls, this guy included. But in the end, it's Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nebraska too, Arizona, Nevada. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still seeing David Schuster just posted out that he still sees 280 for Kamala. I see 280 for Kamala, 280 to 285, you know, in that range. If she wins Arizona, things get really dicey fast for Trump. So in a perfect world, it would be a blowout, but
Yeah.
it's not a perfect world. It's America. So I don't no need to drag this out, guys. It's getting late in America. We've talked about a few things. Mike, give me some of your thoughts, man, as we kind of let our folks go and let them go to bed.
Listen,
What do you think, brother?
I'll close with the same thing I opened with, basically, which is, in football, it's any given Sunday, and with elections, it's any given Tuesday. And I think that to continue the football metaphor, we really would like to just run the scoreboard up. We really would like to just have this be a blowout win, but this ain't that Sunday. And so, we're 11:29 Eastern. I don't even know if that's the fourth quarter yet, with this particular with the presidential race, right? So, there's no spike in the football by either team. To do so would be just dumb. But I think there's enough room left on the field. We can make this happen. So don't anybody get ball up in the corner and start balling yet. We've still got plenty of football to play.
Yeah, there you go. Travis, you can be up. You'll probably be up for a little bit. Keep it quiet for your son to sleep. What do you feel, brother? How you feel?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was already upstairs. I heard him. I definitely woke him up. So
Sorry about that.
Hearing about that one. I'll be hearing
Sorry,
about
brother.
that one later.
The life of the political hack during political season, man.
Look, if you've got some other shows to watch tonight, go catch up on them. It's gonna be a late night. It's gonna be a late night. I mean, you can sit there and watch them pull up the screen over and over and over and over and over again and drive yourself crazy. But sit back with some ice cream and some beer, like whatever you do, go do it and find that calm. Because I mean, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but no matter what it brings, we're gonna need everybody in the fight. So
yes, sir. It's what we do.
Don't stay up till 5 a.m.
Well, gentlemen, I'll let you go. Thanks for joining us tonight, twice today for Mike. He's a two-time guy, and I really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Travis, for joining us. Been thrilled to have you on the show finally, and we're gonna bring your ass back.
Man.
So keep track. I'd love to update everybody on our races in the next couple of days too. Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll be tracking them.
See you guys soon. Okay, so I did see some of your comments. I do look at the comments, and by the way, I appreciate you guys. I love when you say hi. If you're a friend of mine, say hi. I love seeing it. It motivates me to do this. Somebody did ask, what the hell do I mean, Fred, when I say Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan? Look, it's a simple fact, folks. We had the Electoral College. Donald Trump really is where he's supposed to be. Like, if you look at that number, would you bring that chart up for me again, JJ? Let's put it the presidential side. Okay, folks. So you look at this. Donald Trump's sitting at 230. Okay, so you see 230 there. Vice President Harris at 187. Now look at those little pink, the states that aren't hard yet. So you got Nevada, Arizona. Come over to Virginia, going to get called shortly for her, so that's great. But Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, they're pinkish right now because they're still counting the urban votes. Georgia's still pink because they're still counting urban votes. But the bottom line is, even if he takes Georgia, he's not going to get to 270. It's all about 270, folks. If Vice President Harris takes Nebraska 2, which is a separate district, that's 2, and she takes Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, she gets to 270. It'll be about, I think, 280, but I could be wrong. I'm not one of those whiz bang Steve Kornacki types. But that's the bottom line. That's what they call that, the blue wall. Is it scary? Because right now they're pinkish. Yeah, it's freaking terrifying. But that's okay. As we've been talking, Minnesota finally turned blue again. They update these as they count. So Minnesota is going to be blue. So have a little faith. It's a long night ahead of us still. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. I know you guys are stressed. I see your comments. And by the way, I just love the fact that so many of you know each other now and you're talking to each other. It's so cool to have a family around on the line with VoteVets, that our show has got a little family community. So thank you for joining us, and thanks for talking to each other and talking to us. Look, the Electoral College is what it is. We're stuck with it. Our founding fathers came up with it. It's telling that no other country in the world copied it. that in 250 years almost, no other country in the world said, yeah, that's a great plan. It's not a great plan, but it is what we have. We have to get through the next 2 weeks with it. But the bottom line is, even though Trump's ahead right now, you guys have to understand he's got a wall. If he doesn't break that blue wall, if the blue wall holds, we win this thing. So while I am anxious, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. After all, some of us are on the target list. You know, it is what it is. But in the end, the big blue wall must hold. We have to have faith in our fellow Americans. They're voting. They're voting in big numbers. They're still voting in some of those places. So let's let them keep voting. Let's encourage them to stay in line. Let's get those votes in. And for all of us here in the VoteVets family, you joining us, an astounding 20,000 of you, thank you for that. Just have faith. And I'm here to tell you that is a scary time. I've been through this before. This is my first rodeo, unfortunately, and we know it's going to take some time. Turn off my friend Steve Kornacki. I love him to death. Look, I love all those. I don't dislike any of those folks. They're doing their jobs. They got to fill airspace, but it will make you crazy. So look, I'm going to get off of here. Going to have a big old slice of the peanut butter pie I made earlier for reasons I can't explain, and I'm probably going to turn on my Xbox at this point because it's just your brain's going to get fried otherwise, right? So I tell you, folks, please have faith. They still have to, as one of our commenters mentioned, there's still mail-in ballots to count. I mean, we are a long way from done tonight, probably tomorrow before it's all said and done. Don't let our opponents get in your head. Don't let the red wave, the red mirage scare you. Don't let the Trumpies trying to like spike the ball think it's a thing. It's not. We just have to have faith. We have to give Vice President Harris and Governor Walz incredible credit for running an incredible campaign with just 4.5 months to pull the whole damn thing together and pull it off. And they did that. So in the meantime, thank you all for being part of the VoteVets family and joining our community. We appreciate you. As you know, we represent about 2 million veterans, military family members, and supporters and Veterans Affairs supporters from across the country. And of course, all of you joining us. The best way is always to talk about VoteVets, votevets.org. Go to our website. If we had to fight this thing, we may have to help some of our candidates who have won tonight, and those who are still fighting their battles and the runoffs. Who knows what's going to happen? But there is, we'll be in that fight because that's what we do. We're not going away anywhere. So all of you, thank you for your faith. Thank you for your faith in democracy. Just being here late at night tells me that you get it. You're here for the right reasons to support our democracy. So we are not walking away, and neither are you. So thank you for everything. Again, I am Fred Wellman. This is Online with VoteVets, our live stream show. I appreciate you. I want to thank JJ Jorgensen, our incredible producer that makes all this come together. I'd look even dumber than I do if it wasn't for him. And so with that, we will see you maybe tomorrow, JJ. I don't know, man. What do you think? We may have to come back. We may be back tomorrow. If not, in the meantime, have faith. Follow us on our social media channels. We'll be posting all of our candidates as they win. And as we just endorse our endorsed candidates, hopefully there's going to be a lot of those flooding overnight. In the meantime, have faith in our democracy, folks. This is what we fight for. So hang in there, and I will see you very again soon.